I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
You guessed your pressure points with your two favorite hosts. I'm D, and this is Microscopic AJ. We're coming at you with Season 5, Episode 7, Operation Elster. Once again, AJ's dipping his toes into World War II for the first time. You'll hear it here this week. Find us on Instagram and Twitter at PointSoPressure.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass.
I told you that in confidence.
It's too late.
I am not medically diagnosed with a micropenis. You can't see my eyes darting around.
To clarify, I didn't say anything about what part of you is microscopic, even though it's literally all of you. He is the microscopic man.
You are not one to talk.
When anybody plays the Little Green Man, that drinking game, the Little Green Man.
I don't know what that is.
It's fucking... It's a drinking game, but you get the Little Green Man. You have to dip him into your drink, and take him out. It's weird.
Sounds gross.
It's not a real thing. It's just the action of doing it, or else you have to drink.
What? But you have to drink anyway.
Yeah, but if you don't do it, you have to drink again.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like curses. I don't fucking remember.
The only drinking game I've ever played was Rage Cage, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah, that one's fucked. I played it once, and I had to drink for my DD. That was also like, I want to play Rage Cage, and so I was playing Rage Cage for two people.
Yeah. And I bet you were losing.
Yeah.
So how was your week?
It's been good. It's been good so far. I got a job offer for a new position. Ooh. I will hopefully be working remote if I can pass a drug test.
Ooh, so, we'll see.
Yeah, next week, depending on my demeanor, we'll find out how well my drug test.
We should remember to talk about it. We should remember to talk about it next episode so that...
I mean, we will. It's pretty much the biggest thing that's going to happen to me in like 3 years. So,
besides starting this podcast, right?
No.
Oh. Speaking of the podcast, we got some stickers.
Yeah, we finally got them.
Information coming soon. We're going to do some giveaways. We're going to send some out.
Yeah.
So, stay tuned.
We got some new shit.
I suggest following our Instagram. That's where we're going to communicate the most. I know social media in general is a failing platform, especially Instagram, but hey, it makes it easier to do stuff like this.
Fingers crossed that Facebook/Meta gets kicked out of UK.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, I hope, dude.
But
you hear about all that?
Not a ton.
Yeah.
But then all our UK followers won't be able to follow us on Instagram.
No, just everyone will shift over to Twitter or Reddit. And
yeah, but I don't like using those either.
We'll start using those just as infrequently as we currently use Instagram.
Yeah, probably.
But, yeah, so reach out to us if you are interested in stickers. And then, depending on what we figure out, we'll send you updates.
Yeah. You'll hear it in the show and on our social media. Of course, we're going to talk about it here.
So, yeah, what about you? How was your week?
Oh, God. I found out my house almost burned down.
Yeah.
That
was great.
Like, starting 2 weeks ago, me and Dee were in the basement sawing wood because we're remodeling it. We've talked about it a couple of times. And all of a sudden, pop, power is out. We can't figure it out. So,
Jesus.
We contact my grandfather. He was an electrician for a while, worked on the railroad, and he comes over, and we cannot figure out the wiring in this place.
God, it's such a mess down here.
Oh, it is crazy. So then he came over again 2 weeks later with more ideas. They were about to give up, and they're like, what if the electricity is going the other way for some stupid fucking reason?
Well, and they saw that wire that went upstairs. And they were like,
and there was one outlet that was out upstairs. And I thought it was because it was the end of the line. God. Well, we all thought it was the end of the line. Turns out that's when it enters. So the power box is in the basement. And then it goes up to the attic, down into the different rooms, and then back down into the basement. It is the most fucked up shit.
They're so stupid.
So just on a whim, we went up, pulled out the outlet, and pulled it out, and it was melted, burnt, and cracked.
Effectively trying to burn your house down.
Yeah, And thank God we found it, because now there's electricity down here.
Yeah, I mean, we're making headway.
Pain in the ass, though.
It's coming along. It sucks, but it's coming along.
Yeah, we wired one light, which is what we were supposed to do 3 lights 4 weeks ago. But that's okay. We got some insulation up.
We've got a lot to do, but
it's coming along, though.
We got this. Yeah, we'll be good.
It'll get there.
But
It'll be easier when you move into the unfinished part and you can just do it all day.
Seriously. That's why I want that fucking remote position. That I can we can get it done and I can live here and stop paying a bunch in fucking rent downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was pretty good.
Fucking here. We're doing
I made a Dutch baby for breakfast this morning. Have you not ever had a Dutch baby? It's like a German pancake.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
With the apples, cinnamon apples.
I haven't had it with cinnamon apples.
Oh my God, that's the only way to have
my
it.
Mom,
fuck syrup.
My mom made them, and we always called them growing up hootenannies.
Ugh.
And I fucking love those things.
That's white immigrant Germanic erasure.
It's pretty bad. But yeah, I was all about it, dude. I fucking loved those. Especially, so you're gonna go, oh. But I fucking loved them when they were cold.
No, they are amazing cold. They are amazing hot.
Dude. It's like a fluffy omelet.
Yeah,
like
but more pancakey.
Yeah, it's
more
like
sweet.
a pancakey omelet. It's so good.
It's very eggy, and I like apples. Cinnamon.
Goal for everyone this week: make German pancakes / Dutch babies.
They're
Make
really
them
easy.
This week.
If you got a blender, it's even easier, but you can do it by hand.
So good.
You just mix up eggs, a little bit of flour, sugar, a little bit of salt, vanilla.
Yeah, bake that bitch.
Bake that in like a cast iron pan. Boom.
Boom. Done.
Boom.
So
delicious.
Fucking good.
I made it with the cultured butter that I made a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
So it came out almost like a pie crust with the flaky layers.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I stole the recipe from Martha Stewart's website. I'm hoping
it's so hot.
Now I'll know how to avoid taxes. Commit tax fraud. Well, more tax fraud than I'm already committing.
You got this. You got it.
So, it's good. It's good. D is slightly less depressed than usual, which is really good.
Because I got a job offer. And because I found a way of checking out at work and making time pass quicker.
It's called...
If you get a chance to play RimWorld, fucking do it.
It's my favorite game.
But yeah. So I'm doing well. We're doing all right, man.
It's all good. And you guys probably don't care about this, but I'm excited for I like giving a look on the backside of the podcast, behind the scenes. We started some ads today. First ads in a year. So
yeah, it's been a hot minute. So
if you're new and you're listening to this,
fucking welcome.
Hello, welcome. Oh yeah, and God, I'm rambling. That's fine. I'm gonna ramble this entire episode.
You're good. If you're new and you dig it, go check out some of our older shit. Specifically the 2-parters. All of our 2-parters. Go listen to
Yeah, I like them. I like those ones. Yeah, the survival stories, D puts out multiple every season. They're fantastic.
I regularly put out.
That is true. And also welcome anybody listening on Deezer.
Yeah, Jesus. The UK Spotify that we just dipped our toes in.
Well,
didn't know
European
exist.
Union.
Oh, yeah. That.
In general. But we've been getting every week more and more people in the UK, Ireland, where else? I already closed it, but in Europe, we've been getting more listeners. So welcome.
Cool, yeah.
Thanks for stopping by. Suppose we should probably do a podcast now.
Yeah, it's fucking late, dude. We're gonna have another D Falls Asleep episode.
You better fucking not. It's only 10:30.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so Operation Elster. I love operations, both the surgical kind and the military / government agency kind. And we've done quite a few of these. I think didn't we have an Operation something in the first season? It was one of our first episodes.
Sure, I'm pretty sure
so,
we did.
Yeah.
Let me check.
I don't remember what it was. And then we talk about Operation Sea Spray. We talk about Operation Artichoke. We talk about that one was more recent. All sorts of operations. I've gotten a lot of the ideas for operations from Nordic Thunder, so thank you for all your suggestions. They are phenomenal. So, we're going to talk about Operation Elster today. Elster in English is Magpie. So it's Operation Magpie. Are you still looking at it?
It's my favorite kind of pie.
Yes, that is true. 9mm specifically.
Operation Infection was the one we did in
Yeah.
season 1.
That was a fun one. I kind of want to redo it better.
Honestly, once we hit our like 200 threshold and
We'll just start repeating it.
those season 1 episodes are gone, we'll just go back and redo season 1 with our old notes.
I don't have my old notes. Are you
we'll
shitting
do it
me?
fully scripted.
Oh, yeah. We're actually going to just do a text-to-speech on the original episode and then read it back out.
Jesus
Completely
Christ.
unnatural sounding.
Yeah. Delightful.
All
I'm
right.
excited.
So Eric Gimple starts. Fantastic name.
You are so good at finding the worst named people in history.
I know, it's fantastic. Gimple, and it's Eric with a CH, so you know he's German. Erich Gimple. Nah. So he was born 1910, March 25th, in Merseburg, Germany.
Merseburg.
He was a radio operator later on in his life, in the 30s, for the mining operations, or for some mining operations in Peru.
Okay.
So he was in South America during the 30s and all that. Everything that happened in Germany during the 30s. He worked for the company that Telefunken, which is like a telecommunications company or something.
Speaking of the 1930s in Germany, totally inconsequential time. Period,
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Nothing really happened.
Nothing of note, especially in this show.
Yeah, exactly.
We always ignore 1930 to like 1947.
Yeah. We've never done an episode in this time period.
So if you like that time period, get the fuck out.
So, funnily enough, he was approached by some other Germans, and they said, hey.
Do you hate Jews? God.
No, it was more, you can see a lot of U.S. shipping routes from Peru. Why don't you send us a telegraph every once in a while when something weird happens? And he's recruited as a secret agent.
Okay.
For the Nazis.
So he is like, I'm guessing, the Nazi version of Garbo.
A little bit. There are some similarities there.
Okay.
So he's spent some time in Peru spying and doing all that fun shit. And then the U.S. enters the war. And he gets deported from Peru. Back to Germany. God. So it's like, shit! Now I'm useless, but he was then shipped off to Spain, which is where Garbo was based. Mm-hmm. And he continued to spy for the Germans, for the Nazis.
Okay.
So he's in Spain, living the high life.
So Garbo is in Spain, lying to the Nazis about working for them. Fucking Gremlick or whatever it's
Gimple, yeah.
Gimple is working in Spain for the Nazis.
Yeah.
Do you know... And I don't know if this is a spoiler, but do they ever cross paths?
They don't. Not that I can tell.
God damn it. Also, if you don't know Codename Garbo,
good episode.
Season 2?
Because that's mine. 3?
3?
I thought it was 3. Whatever.
Yeah,
You'll figure it out. So we talked about him. Garbo was a spy who was a badass.
Yeah. Really.
That's all.
Really
That's all you need to know. He was
story,
awesome.
Yeah.
So he's spying in Spain, and he was selected by someone in the German government to go to a spy school in Hamburg, where he did a fantastic job. Top of his class, fantastic spy, and he got his final exam, and his final exam was to infiltrate the Hague in the Netherlands.
The Hague!
Which at this point was already German occupied. So it's basically like, infiltrate against us.
Oh, okay.
See what you can do.
Well, I mean, it's
a good test.
I mean, if you're gonna fucking have anybody test the infrastructure and like how hard it is to infiltrate,
yeah, have your
it
own
would be
guys.
Somebody that's trying to prove himself. You don't go, hey, anyone that's not an Axis power, infiltrate us, and we'll recruit you, and they'll go, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, it makes sense. It's like what banks do, where they hire someone to see how safe their firewall is.
Yeah, yeah, like
and then someone breaks it and they say, okay, this is,
testing.
defensive testing. This is how we can fix this.
Oh, what's that called?
And they
vulnerability testing or something. Yeah.
Yes, and you repair it. So
you get paid a shitload to do
breaking
that.
down internally. Yeah, like me.
Yeah, I am always breaking down internally. If only breaking down would burn fat, I would be the thinnest man on the planet.
God, man, if mental health burned calories, I would be so fucking fit.
And then I wouldn't have mental health problems anymore.
Catch 22 again.
Ah, damn it.
Every time.
So when he's in the Netherlands, he meets William Kolpa.
Okay.
Very important distinction that his name is William and not Wilhelm.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
All
his
right.
name is William Kolpa, which is another horrible last name, whatever.
That's not as bad.
So, good old Bill, I'm not calling him that, is good old Kolpa was born March 25th, same day, but in 1918, so 8 years after
A youngin'.
Gimple. He was born in Connecticut,
Fresh blood.
and you're probably wondering why a Connecticut-born American is in German-occupied Netherlands in 1944.
Yeah, that's odd. I don't know.
Let's see. So Kolpa
Was there some kind of like worldwide issue that was going on at the time?
Well, they weren't fighting in the Netherlands at that point, as far as I know. Not right there. So then Kolpa trained at Admiral Farragut Academy in New Jersey.
You're really doing one.
I know.
yourself on
I
this.
fucking hate myself.
I don't know why you don't just do one of these days.
I can't
really
read. Everything's spelled out phonetically.
You really need to do an episode based in like just Midwest
Colorado.
United States. No, Colorado might get a little funky, but just like
Nevada.
a story in Kansas,
Montana.
Everyone's named John and Michael and David, and it's easy for you to pronounce. You don't have to write those
Yes, I do.
phonetically. You'd say Jean, Michael, David. That's what would happen. if
Yeah,
you
that
did
is what would happen.
You'd fuck yourself.
So he was actually in the Navy during World War II. He was active.
What was his name?
William Kolpa.
Okay, what's the school he's working under? One more time.
The school?
I don't know.
He was trained at Admiral
yeah.
Farragut Academy in New Jersey.
There we go. You're getting it.
I'm getting there.
I'm helping you.
So in 1943, he was discharged from the Navy for, and I quote, "for the good of the service," which is not good.
For him, God, he's a fucking terrible soldier on my guess.
He basically said, "You are bringing down the Navy service entirely. Fuck off."
They go, listen, we're better off without you.
That's exactly it. They did the whole hands pointing.
If you continue working with us, the Axis powers will win. We need you to go. I don't know if you know who this Hitler guy is, but he will take over if you keep working
he
here,
will
Kolpa. You get out. We just go. We'll send you your paychecks. You can go home as a vet. It's fine. We just don't
leave.
We cannot get your help.
We cordially refuse your service.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
he spent the next year working odd jobs. I think he was like a farmer. He did some other work that I should have written down. I was like, I'll remember this. I don't. He just he moved around, worked a couple odd jobs.
Yeah.
He
It was the 40s. People were they did weird shit back then.
Oh, yeah. So he eventually landed as a crew member because of his Navy experience on a repatriation ship. Basically, if you were going to go drop off your POWs, trade POWs for POWs or whatever, you would send the ship over, they'd drop off the people, and then they'd come back home.
Okay.
That was the whole idea behind it. So they were in Lisbon when he decides to not get back on the ship. He instead goes to the German consulate. He walks in, opens the doors, and says, "Hey, I'm defecting from America."
Oh, hell. Oh, hell.
He said,
Oh, God.
I am afraid of being drafted. I would rather join the Nazis." Which, interesting enough, means he now meets the criteria to be a president. Draft dodging.
Oh, my God.
And Nazis, yeah. So,
Fuck.
and they say, okay. He spoke little to no German. Like,
Holy
he
shit.
barely spoke German. But they scooped him up.
Well, they know somebody that speaks great English that can translate, and he's he's gonna have like they look at him and they're like, oh my god,
this guy was in the military. Yeah. This guy knows the Navy operations. This guy knows their maneuvers, their patrols. He kind of knows his shit.
Expendable as fuck. Like, get the info, send him to a camp, whatever. Like,
send him on a suicide mission.
I mean,
the
guy's a defector. They're not going to be like, oh, let's promote him within. Like, no, they'll get what they need and fucking kick him out.
Interestingly enough, they sent him to a spy school in The Hague.
Okay, well, this is why Germany lost. Like, what the fuck?
No, that's what I would do. You take your expendable dude, you train him up just enough to survive, to have a chance.
I would not.
And then you send him on a mission and see what happens. Yeah, you're not going to trust him entirely.
I would get everything that I need to, and then just be like, okay, like, thanks, but fuck you.
Well, like, you got to see.
Would not
at
do
this
anything.
point, he is completely dependent on you because he can't go back.
Yeah,
because then they'll just say, "Oh, that guy came to us and spilled all these secrets. Kill him," and he's dead.
I guess that's
so
fair.
He is now basically completely dependent on the Germans. So I see what they were going for. So he got a ton of like firearms and espionage training, and that's where he met Gimple,
his wife,
Eric.
No,
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
His wife, Gimple.
It's a love story this week.
How did you know? So now we'll get on that. That's all the background you need for Operation Elster. It's those two dudes.
Part 1 done.
Boom. We'll take a break here. Go get some pop. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Unless you're still listening.
Just keep your headphones in.
Yeah, it's whatever. You know what? Just keep it playing. I don't care if you listen.
Go back to episode 1 and just hit play.
Perfect. Play all.
Walk away.
So Operation Elster was devised by the Schutzstaffel, which that is, as far as I know, the correct pronunciation. The SS, the Schutzstaffel.
The Stroopwafel?
The Stripwaffle.
Sorry, I'm hungry as fuck.
You want a gluten-free
no,
cookie?
I'm just kidding. You're fine. One more time.
Schutzstaffel.
That's way better
the SS.
when you scream it. It's more...
The Schutzstaffel!
There you go.
Yeah, it sounds much more German.
Yeah.
I learned a little bit of it, and you do not pronounce the words right unless you're yelling. It's really weird.
It's true. I got screamed at all the time when I was out there.
That's because.
But it's
that's
because
just you.
Yeah, it's fair.
That's because you don't have control of your bowels or bladder.
Yeah, and I don't understand tones. I'm the opposite of a dog. I only understand words, not tones.
You don't understand social cues. So, the mission, Operation Elster, is we're going to drop off some dudes on the coast of the United States by submarine. We're going to get spies directly into the U.S. They're going to go up and down the coast. They're going to spy for us. It's going to be fantastic. That being said, in 1942, they already had this idea in Operation Pastorius, but all 8 spies were captured and interrogated.
So this is Operation Copy Paste. Do it.
Try again.
Yeah. Operation Attempt number 2.
Yeah, exactly. And the main idea behind it was originally, let's see how well German propaganda has penetrated into the United States. Like, is our propaganda like getting there, hitting the mark?
Yes,
it was before the war.
And it still is.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was
the most effective propaganda campaign of all time.
Yeah,
it's
90 years long and nobody's even it's self-perpetuating.
And 10 years after they started it, they collapsed and their propaganda campaign is still fucking working.
They created a self-propagating propaganda machine.
God damn.
Fantastic. It was as it was being planned, they were like, we should probably do more than that. Like, let's try to gather some technical data. Let's watch the shipyards. Let's watch the factories. Let's look at maybe some universities in the area. Basically, let's expand the program. This mission's going to last 2 years.
Okay.
We're going to figure all this shit out. They're going to be in deep. It's going to be fantastic. The agents are going to build a radio, so we need somebody who knows how to build and operate a radio. We're going to, if the radio doesn't work, because they were going to do like Morse code, then we're going to send them with invisible ink, and postcards, and then there are going to be dead drops because they had a dead drop system with POW camps. So they could pass mail to a POW, and it would make it through a system to get back to Germany.
I've always thought that the premise behind Invisible Ink, like, I know that it's not used the way that everyone imagines. Like, obviously you're going to have pages that have stuff printed on them, and then your invisible ink shows up in the blank areas.
Yeah, in the margins or between the lines.
But I always, like, when I hear invisible ink, I just imagine someone with, like, just sheets of blank paper. And it's always like, it's always
yes,
just
I'm sending
parchment.
this letter, and they're opening the parchment up, and there's nothing on it, and they're like, oh, this is fine, send it.
They always just have blank paper, and I just imagine in, like, the mid-century, people are like, I don't know why he has a bunch of blank pages and just throws them over his shoulder. It's like, it just makes me laugh because I know that that's not how it went.
That's fantastic.
It's just one of those stupid childlike thoughts. And I'm like, you fucking idiot, D.
I love it. I love that shit.
Ooh, what if he carries around pages where everything's printed with invisible ink? Then no one can see it. We won't put anything else on there.
Yeah.
It'll just be blank.
Blank sheets of paper. Like, I'm thinking about the letter I'm going to write. Thinking about it.
Oh, Jesus.
So eventually the mail would make it back to... They would have dead drops, not just with POWs, but with other people, and it would make it back to Spain, which would then make it into Germany. Because you couldn't just mail to Germany.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. So, let's see. I already lost my spot. Oh, yeah, right here. So, their idea was more long-term. Once you set up your radio and you start spying, start setting up like a system. Start getting multiple transmitters so that when we send over more spies, they can just go to you. You're like the first chain of spies, and then they'll go and create their network.
Okay.
And then when the next one comes through, they're going to go to you, then that new chain, and then they'll be placed.
Shift it further, basically just like a supply chain.
And it creates a network of spies, like the one that Garbo made up entirely.
So fucking clever. I love it. Season 3, episode 7, if you're curious on that one.
I like it because it's my episode, so...
I like it because I didn't have to do notes on it, so it was great.
Perfect. So, Gimple and Kolpa packed their bags. They were going to be sent to America. Because, I mean, that's actually pretty smart. Like, you make the American, who was born and raised in America, go back with a hardened German spy, a hardened Nazi spy.
Yeah, of course.
They're like dream team. One will get the job done, one will cover for him.
When he's back home, he's already got
He knows his shit. He knows exactly what to do, social situations, like... Perfect. He knows all the social cues.
It's the 40s.
Like 3 or 3.
Yeah.
When you get shot. It's from Inglourious Bastards.
Like, he goes back. It's the 1940s. He can tell everyone, oh, I came back from the war because of my bone spurs. And everyone's like, oh, okay, it's not because... They didn't want him.
Because they discharged you, and then you...
even though they're drafting, he's the one person they were like, we don't want you.
We do not. Yeah, he probably wouldn't have been drafted because of his military history.
Yeah.
Like, this dude,
he's a fucking idiot.
I love it.
Like, but I mean, I guess it worked out so far for him. But yeah, clever, because he's back home.
He's back home.
Yeah.
Well, not yet. He's packing his bags. He's getting on a U-1230
not yet. Okay.
submarine.
Okay.
September 22nd, 1944. This is supposed to last 2 years.
Uh-huh.
As we know, the war doesn't last 2 years from here, so it gets fun. They arrive and deploy November 29th. They are in a submarine for a month, over a month.
Jesus.
Month and 7 days, roughly.
Were they, like, rowing? Like, what the fuck?
No, they had to, like, dodge patrols, and then they were, like, at the bay that they were gonna deploy in, and they stayed completely, like, touching the ground to avoid patrols until they finally found their opening, where they popped up, they deployed a rubber dinghy, and they went, bzzz, made it to the shore, and they got out with their supplies, and this is outside of Hancock, Maine.
Uh-huh.
And the people who were on the boat, who were bringing the boat back, the seamen they were with, made a big deal about getting out of the boat and standing on the shore so that they could go back home and say, yeah, I stood on the beach in America.
American beaches. This is Maine, bro.
Yeah.
Like, get out.
It was also snowing.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was like a point of honor that they made it to the enemy land without being seen. So they did what two totally regular dudes would do if they're out at the beach in the middle of the night.
They kissed.
They hiked 5 miles to the nearest highway, where they were witnessed twice by locals. I love this shit.
In their SS uniforms.
Yeah, they were wearing SS. No. But
no,
their outfits...
they show up and they're in those like old fucking early 20s fucking swimming suits.
No, they were in the zoot suits.
They're in those stupid striped swimming suits, the leotard looking things, and they're just hiking. Oh, we're on the beach. People are like, bro, it's midnight.
We are on the beach.
November in Maine. What the fuck are you guys doing out here? Somebody get the police.
So one lady, she was driving home from playing some board games or something, and she saw these two dudes, and she's like, they're wearing city suits. We're in the country.
Couple of slickers.
It's winter, and they don't have hats. And that was the thing that tipped her off. Because everybody fucking wore hats. God. So they're like, that's really weird.
Imagine defecting to Germany and being like, I'm American. I get the customs. And you still manage to fuck it up.
Right?
God, dude.
Everybody knows everyone wore hats during those times.
And Germany's like, well, now we know why the Americans didn't fucking want him.
So, another person saw them.
World War II's biggest fuck up.
This dude, he was a younger dude. He was like a Boy Scout. He must have been in his late teens.
Colpa?
No, this other guy who witnessed them.
No. I was saying the guy's name. Colpa?
Yeah, Colpa.
Jesus Christ.
So this other guy was driving home. He happened to be the son of the local sheriff. So he took down some information. He was like,
okay, so self-proclaimed
these dudes are weird.
cop.
I saw, he saw footprints coming from the beach. And he's like, that's really weird. I should report this to somebody.
Oh, God.
So now, like an idiot, this guy, the sheriff, his dad, was off on a hunting trip. Oh, so these two people didn't say a word to anybody, didn't report it to anyone until he got back.
Oh, my God.
5 days later.
5 days?
He was gone for 5 days, so they could have caught these guys right then if the sheriff was in town.
God, dude.
But because the sheriff wasn't in town, they're like, oh, I'm not going to step on any toes. I'll just wait for him to get back. It's probably not a big deal.
God, no, you got to say it like it's the 40s. Oh, I'd hate to step on anybody's toes.
See?
You see? God, dude, what a fucking idiot.
I love it. Everybody...
it's probably Mr. Jones's crazy nephew up to no good once again. That silly neighborhood boy.
You're slowly getting to late 1800s. You're slowly getting there. But my favorite thing is when everybody's an idiot in a story. Like, when everybody just fucks up.
God damn it.
So,
okay, so because of human error, it's a successful mission.
They catch a cab. They take the cab to Bangor.
God.
And then they take a train from Bangor to Boston. Then they hop another train and get to New York. They're in perfect spot for spying.
That's so fucking funny.
So I'm going to go over the gear that they had during this trip. Because I love it. I love knowing what do the Nazis think would be useful to spies in America.
So thinking back on it, I'm sure when the sheriff's son told the sheriff about it, the sheriff was like, this is why you aren't on the force. Why didn't you tell me that footprints were coming out of the water?
Yeah, why didn't you just call the FBI?
But Dad, I thought maybe it was just like one of those walking fish things. God, dude.
Walking fish things?
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Of course.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
This monster. Fucking
But
dumbass.
He could have, there was so much American propaganda around saying, if you see something weird, call this number, report it to the FBI.
No.
No, he just...
Only to Dad.
Only to Daddy.
Dad needs the approval.
He needs the pay increase.
Fucking dumbass.
Yeah. So they were given, of course, fake IDs, which they were able to procure and verify as fairly authentic because of Colpa. They got...
They're probably just drawings.
Yeah.
It's just stick figures.
So they got $60,000. I need you to convert that to today money.
$60K to today.
I know roughly, so I'll know if you're fucking it up.
What?
I know roughly what it is.
Yeah. Then why am I doing
Because
this?
I'm not 100% sure. So they got $60K cold hard American cash.
What year is this? 1944. 194. Whoops.
Year 194.
Okay. Almost $1 million. $950,000.
What the number I saw was 880,000, but that was probably from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about right. Let's say 900K. Split the difference.
Just under $1 million.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Considering inflation has been obscene the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's kind of fucking it up.
800 is probably pretty safe.
So then they also had 99 diamonds.
Oh, let me...
yeah, convert that to value.
How
just in
much
case, I don't
is
know.
99 diamonds worth?
Google it. I want to see.
How much is a diamond worth in diamond value? Okay, well, no.
Fuck it.
Oh,
what was
ow.
that?
I don't know.
That was from the soundboard. I'll edit it out. Hey, remind me to edit it out.
Okay.
36 minutes.
Okay.
You guys won't hear that. It's fine. They also had two 32 caliber semi-automatic pistols.
Okay.
Of course, very good. A camera that had a lens specifically for taking pictures of documents. Run of the mill. They had some very expensive German watches. I don't know why they went with German watches. Whatever.
God, really though. It's because the Germans probably looked at it as this will be a clever way to go.
Yeah. They had secret spy ink and decoders for receiving messages
and
from
a lot
spy
of
ink.
blank paper.
A lot of parchment.
A lot of
Scrolls.
blank parchment paper.
Now, they had some microdots that contained schematics for radios, schedules for dead drop stuff, and dead drop locations, essentially. So I know barely what a microdot is.
So, I looked into them a little bit. Microdots, it's basically like shrunken text that back in 1870 they would fit basically a page worth of text into a 1 millimeter square dot. And
is it a square or a dot? Fucking idiot.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
Whatever. But 1 square millimeter, I should say. Sorry. And it would be used as a period in a sentence, or it would be dotting I's and J's and different things like that, or a little apostrophes. They were usually metal, and they would just be stuck to the page, right? In some cases, they weren't. They would just be loose. But you would need the microscope to view it, which it was kind of have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw a picture of it.
Yeah, it's it looks like a disc that's 3 or 4 inches in diameter, and then it's just got a mini microscope that sticks out of the top of it. And you would slide that over where you need to read, and it blows up the text. So the premise behind it, and the reason they really made them, obviously because it makes things really hard to find information, right? Mm-hmm. You're able to hide text easily. But it was also created so that they could put hundreds of letters into a little parcel for carrier pigeons, and they could get more information out to more people more efficiently.
Yeah, compress the information down.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool, actually.
It was actually in 1925 that they made it 100 times more efficient because they were able to sink it down into 1 square hundredth of a millimeter, 0.01 millimeters, that they could get an entire page of text. Little trivia for you. Lee Harvey Oswald said that the address for the printing company that he worked for was called Microdots in 1962. And they use microdots they use them in like Mission Impossible, James Bond, The Venture Bros, Nancy Drew, and then they even had them in like Superman.
The Hardy Boys.
Yeah, Superman comic books, shit like that. Just because it was this well-known thing that you can zoom in on just one period and you have an entire book.
Dude, I want to figure out this technology just for the
crazy.
podcast. I'm going to do all my notes looking in a scope.
But I mean, imagine one page on just 0.01 millimeter pinpoint.
I can still see an application for that, especially because it's older tech.
Yeah, of course.
That if it's not like anything super critical, people probably aren't really looking out for it.
No, not at all.
Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they are, but that's a pretty cool concept.
But yeah, the biggest thing is that it's not like it's a completely separate from the sheet, but at 100th of a millimeter, it's borderline untraceable. Like,
yeah, you'd have to scan the entire page, every like millimeter by millimeter, to try to find it.
It'd be pretty wild. You should look into it.
We should make some.
I guarantee you.
We'll put them on our stickers.
You could probably find one of those microdots machines.
The scopes
on that auction site.
That would be really cool. I'll take an eye out for it.
We'll write love letters back and forth on it.
Yeah, on just one sheet of paper.
It's not like your wife or my girlfriend listen to this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then we'll just send it in blank letters, and they'll be like, "There's probably invisible ink on this."
Exactly, because you wouldn't put anything else on something that has invisible ink.
Exactly. It's only for one thing. So
I'm a thinker.
You are. We're geniuses. They're never gonna figure this out because they don't listen.
Sweet.
Let's see. So they make it to New York. They've got their gear. They got a lot of cash, and they rent a studio apartment, specifically in a building that is not steel frame. They went for, I think it was
nothing is more suspicious in 1940s United States than two men getting a studio apartment. That raises so many flags with how fucking like homophobic the U.S. was back then.
Well, it was so homophobic that they're like, oh, they're just friends.
That's fair.
You know, there's no way they could be gay.
That's true.
They look like Christians because they're white.
Why would someone do that? Jesus. I guess that's fair. But it's like if you're trying to avoid drawing attention to yourself.
Yeah, it's not great. But it worked off. It was cheap.
To be fair, not a lot of brain cells between these two so far.
Yeah, mostly Kolpa. He's the deficit, 100%.
Yeah,
we kind of go...
He's shooting negatives.
Yeah. So they have their aliases, which William Kolpa's was like William Green.
And it's William Cole.
Yeah. Gimple was something
William
boring.
Cold Claw.
Cold
Jesus Christ.
Wow. And
oh, God.
They started buying parts for radios, just secondhand, cash only, trying to not like get caught. Because it's a little suspicious buying radio parts
during
1944. But you can say, hey, I'm repairing the ham radio I have in my bunker. Okay.
That's fair.
That's more plausible.
Just getting ready for nuclear fallout.
Their microdot magnifier on the submarine, because it was too heavy. They're like, we'll figure it out. So Gimple buys a magnifying glass and tries to read the dot and says...
He buys 6 magnifying glasses and a roll of duct tape.
Pretty much. And he's trying to see... And they lost a lot of information because they don't have the reader and the magnifying glass is not nearly strong enough.
Oh, yeah, no.
So they're kind of like, fuck, maybe we should have brought this essential piece of equipment. Gimple was really...
No, we'll just go back.
Yeah. Gimple was super focused on the mission. He was very nose to the ground. German efficiency. Like, we are going to build this radio. Let's do this. And then Kolpa, surprisingly, was like, meh. Maybe I don't want to work today.
It's the World War II version of Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah. That is 100% what is happening.
That would have been a much better episode title.
Fuck. Kolpa and the Gimple?
No. World War II's Pinky and the Brain.
I don't think that would have been better. It would have been better for us. For me.
That's fine.
So basically immediately once they get the apartment, yeah, they're buying some equipment, trying to build a radio. But Copa starts to go to shows, nightclubs, fancy restaurants. They go to get the best food. They buy new outfits, new wardrobes.
Christ.
And I wish I could say Gimple was just working, but no, he joined him on a lot of these. He would go to the clubs, he would go to the shows. He's like, may as well enjoy it while I'm here.
I mean, he's probably getting, like, considering Gimple's a complete idiot, there is a very good chance of Gimple saying, well, we've got to come off as normal Americans, and this is what normal Americans do when they have almost $1 million. So I'm sure that Gimple's just like tagging along because he's like, okay, like we are trying to infiltrate. We've got to show that we're not spies.
Do you have your money converter still?
Yep.
Okay, good. Here's a new number.
1944 still?
Yep. $2,700.
Oh no.
So.
$43,000.
$43,000. Perfect. They spent somewhere between $1,500 and $2,700, or $43,000, in their first month on clothing, bars, food, nightclubs, and other fancy shit.
God damn. This is...
They just spent $50K.
Copa probably got kicked out from the U.S. Army because he was over the military budget, and they were like, we need you to leave because we don't know how you're spending $50 million per month. And he's like, it's all in uniforms, baby.
I got the best.
And they're like, no, we don't look the best. The Germans look classy as fuck.
That's 100% true. Yeah, so...
God damn.
That's in a month. It's said that Copa pursued multiple affairs. He went out whoring, to use the 1940s term.
And his dumbass is probably like, hi, I'm a German spy.
He
That's
drank...
his pickup line.
He drank excessively. He would be gone for hours at a time, leaving Gimple in the apartment just trying to build a radio.
What a fucking idiot.
He would go to fancy hotels and bring his women back to those hotel rooms. He's like, I don't want Gimple to watch.
God.
Gimple's creepy. I don't want him to watch.
Why not just get a second studio apartment?
Yeah. Why not get 2 apartments next to each other?
He goes, too expensive.
Yeah. So Gimple basically during this time period when Copa was out getting his dick wet, he would gather intel, he would read newspapers, watch the newsreels. He kind of scoped out a couple shipyards and stuff, started, documenting stuff, but he hit up the occasional show, occasional movie.
The most accurate historical group project
it really is.
Ever. God.
So December 21st, they are just under a month in the United States. They've spent almost $50,000 in today's dollars.
Jeez, probably, I'd assume,
a little
probably
bit more.
That was just on fucking booze and clubs and bars.
Yeah.
And clothing.
So Copa ditches Gimple. Who would have saw it coming? He took...
I wonder why. Defector McJones over here.
Yeah, get ready to convert some money. He took off with $48,000.
Dude.
That's a lot of money.
Yes. It's so before mine was saying 950. Now this is saying 766. So he left Gimple with just shy of like $100,000.
Yeah, he left him with some cash.
Yeah.
But he took a ton.
But he took very likely around like $650,000.
Beautiful. And he took that money and he got a hotel room at the Hotel St. Moritz in New York, and he basically just kept clubbing and picking up women. Hired a lot of sex workers.
Damn, dude.
And he would try to pick up pick up women in nightclubs and stuff like that.
But I mean, hey, if you're gonna fuck over an Axis power, getting $1 million and then defecting, pretty effective way of doing it, I guess.
He did not do it for the morality.
No, he didn't do it at all.
He did it because he didn't want Gimple saying, "Quit sleeping around. Please help me build this radio.
We're partners."
Yeah.
This is a group project. How am I supposed to present if you're not doing your half of the work?
Exactly.
Oh, no.
It took him a handful of days before Colpaw ran into a man by the name of Edmund Mulcahy, let's say. Let's say that's how it's pronounced. An old schoolmate, guy he knew in school, back in Connecticut. And he basically immediately confessed to Edmund.
Jesus Christ.
I am part of a Nazi plot. I don't want to turn myself in yet. I want to figure out how I can get immunity first.
I have $600,000 I still need to spend before I go to federal prison.
So he basically said, let's figure this out. I'm going to turn myself in, but I need to get immunity for it. I need you to call the FBI and have them come to your house to come pick me up.
You know, the initial conversation was, "Hey, Colpaw, what you been up to, man?" And he's like, weren't you overseas? You were in the army, right?" And Colpaw goes, "Yeah, I was, but they didn't want me. I pretty much got fired, dude. So I actually went to the Germans, and they gave me like $1 million to come back over here with some dude. But I actually just bailed on him, and I took like 2/3 of it, like well over 2/3 of it. And yeah, so I've just got all this cash." And the dude's like, "You should probably fucking tell somebody." And he goes, "Yeah, I don't really know. Like, just it's all excuses at this point. Well, I don't know if this is a good time for it. I don't know who I would reach out to. Trust me, I know excuses."
Yes, you do.
He's bullshitting excuses like crazy.
So Edmund basically says, "Okay, I'm going to contact the FBI. I'm going to tell them that you demand immunity." Because then he's basically win-win.
God.
He gets out of this with immunity. He's never going to be sent back to like the front lines. Yeah. He's never going to be sent anything military related at this point. He's going to be a risk, but he's still going to have $650,000.
Of course, unless they take it.
Win-win. Maybe he doesn't say he has $650. I have no idea what happened to the diamonds. Maybe he has the diamonds.
I completely forgot about the diamonds. Jesus.
Yeah, who knows what happened to that?
I mean, he definitely took the diamonds. It was 99 diamonds. He probably was giving. That's how he was getting women to sleep with him. The guy's
giving them diamonds.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, I got more of these back in my place."
Yeah, idiot.
He's an idiot.
Yeah. So Edmund called and said,
"If only I could be that successful and that big of an idiot." That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot, but I'm not that much of an idiot. That's where the issue arises.
Yeah. So Edmund calls the FBI, says, "Okay, you're going to get immunity. Yeah, sure."
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
The whole room has their fingers and toes crossed. They're doing like the double finger cross Spock shit. They're like, "You'll get immunity, defector."
So he's got the idea that, okay, I'm going to come clean about everything. I'm going to turn over Gimple. I'm going to tell him the whole plan, and I'm going to tell him some stuff that I learned in the spy school. And yeah, I'm going to walk free, $650.
I wrote it down in invisible ink.
This is the art of the deal.
Oh, God.
Part 1. So he basically gets arrested, of course.
Of course.
He gets ferried away by the FBI, and it comes to light that the FBI already knew about them.
Of course.
They started investigating the people up in Maine, those investigations. There was also the submarine that dropped them off. When it was leaving, they had to torpedo a Canadian ship just off the coast. So they're like, okay, they dropped somebody off. Why else are they this close to the coast?
I was like, the sub is probably just sitting there. They
still just sitting there.
They were the last two on it, and they're like, "Well, I hope they don't charge for parking here." Just fucking get out of the sub. It's sticking halfway out of the ocean.
The periscope is just up. And he, completely blabs.
Gimbel's just
like
sitting
a fucking
in a studio
snitch.
apartment. Did we lower the periscope?
Did I leave the oven on? The submarine's just on fire underwater. Oh, God, it's late. That should be that.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
Did I turn off the iron? Fucking hell. God, dude.
So Gimple actually spoke more Spanish than English.
I forgot to turn off the automatic torpedo system.
Shit. So he would every week go and get his news from a Peruvian newsstand. And they were like, hey, there's this weird white guy.
We have one customer.
Who is going to this Peruvian Spanish-speaking newsstand and is basically the only one. He might be a spy.
And for some reason, he speaks Peruvian with a German accent. Yeah. We don't know why.
We don't know why. And they scoop him up there, and for 3 weeks, these two dudes are interrogated.
Oh, God.
They are essentially tortured. Yeah. Well, not Kolpa, because he just speaks freely. He blabbed. He completely told the truth, his motivation being, I'm going to avoid the death penalty with this, because he realized, I'm not going to get immunity for this, am I? They were like, no.
That was his first question when they sat him down under the lamp.
Yeah.
Do I get immunity? No. Oh, no.
I may as well avoid the death penalty.
And then you hear the record scratch. I'm sure you're wondering how I got here.
And they didn't. God. Of course, he didn't get it in writing that he was going to.
Of course, he's an idiot.
Avoid the death penalty or anything. So, yeah, he completely blabbed. It was determined that he was 100% telling the truth, because he even told the truth about stuff that they already knew, but he didn't know they knew. Well, at the same time, Gimple, he's a hardened Nazi.
Yeah.
He multiple times lies to them, tells them nothing honest about the entire thing. And he even said openly, I'm going to get the death penalty no matter what, so fuck you. Yeah. That's exactly his mood during these.
And that's exactly why I would not have brought fucking Kolpa in as a German. It would have been so
He's a
fucking
soft American.
Foolish. Yeah. Like, I feel like they viewed Americans as soft already. And so to say, oh, he's a soft American is like, oh, big old pussy boy over here. Mm-hmm. Like, Jesus, I don't know what they were thinking, but...
Yeah. So, the FBI agents say, well, we fucking blew this wide open. Let's go to J. Edgar Hoover, who rears his cross-dressing head in every single episode.
J. Edgar Hoover is like, what do you mean they shared a studio apartment?
Death penalty.
I don't give a fuck what they say. God, dude, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. I think it's time to reveal that this is secretly a J. Edgar Hoover podcast. Because he has a hand in so many of these episodes.
Everything is a J. Edgar Hoover podcast. God, he's linked to everything.
He really is. So
Wikipedia pages, and so you can tie all of history back to Hitler. You can also tie all of history back to J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah. So J. Edgar Hoover goes to Roosevelt, and Roosevelt says, all right, military tribunal. Boom. Let's do this. It was really interesting, actually, this part. There was a tribunal formed for American citizens in conspiracy to commit treason. It was the third time this tribunal had been ever formed.
Oh, wow.
The first time was with the Lincoln assassination.
Okay.
The second time was with the previous Operation Pistorius. And then the third time was this one.
Jesus.
So, not a great run.
And you'll catch the fourth time on next week's episode.
Yeah. Let's see. So they set up this tribunal. There's a bunch of sergeants and major generals and all sorts of high up military dudes basically set up to defend and prosecute these two dudes. The defense for Kolpa basically said, oh no, he just pretended to be a spy to get back to America. He had cold feet. This was his plan all along. And the prosecution said, he's a fucking idiot.
They didn't even say anything. They just put him up there and they were like, just say whatever you need to say. And he's just like, God. And they're like, okay, yeah, this guy's fucking moron.
Yeah, they were both convicted of espionage and sentenced to death.
Oh, not immunity?
But good old pussyfoot Truman came in and said, nah, we'll just give him life in prison.
Jesus.
Fucking Truman.
God.
I hated his television show, too.
The show that he was in.
That show he was in.
He was in it with Jim Carrey or something.
Yeah, something like that. I didn't. Little known fact: President Truman and Jim Carrey were alive at the same time in their peak. They were the same age.
Yeah, they were there in a movie together.
Yeah,
check it out. It's called The Truman Show.
Truman Show. Yeah. And when you get sentenced to death and then sentenced to life in prison, about 10 years later, it looks like you're up for parole.
Oh, God.
for completely, like, attempting to spy on America. No,
So what?
Spying on America, you get a sentence of 10 years. And then
So this is 1954.
1955.
1955. So Kolpa went to Korea, I'm guessing.
Hold on. Gimple was paroled in 1955. Kolpa was paroled in 1960. The Nazi got out before the idiot.
Well, to be fair, he did defect and then went to the Germans and defected again. So they're like, okay, listen.
We can't fucking trust her.
Yeah, we're not going to let this fucking idiot out of prison any sooner than the actual, like, hardened criminal that probably isn't, like, what's the Nazi going to go back to?
Yeah.
Fuck.
The German-American Bund.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love that they were paroled like so soon after this
God.
for high treason from a military tribunal that's only been used 3 times. And the second time, they were basically all put to death.
Jesus.
No, both times they were put to death.
The stupidest luck of anybody.
Seriously. So it was claimed Gimple, in the mid-50s, put out his own book, an autobiography. Because of course he did. And he said
what else is he going to do?
He basically said that he did a lot of cool, badass things, but then the FBI came out and said he didn't do any of these. He basically made this book about how he was a Nazi superhero spying on America, and none of it had any actual, like, factual claim to it.
And Kolpa read it and believed all of it.
Oh, I'm sure.
No, FBI's lying. This guy was super cool and badass.
It was also suspected that they were that Gimple had more orders beyond idiot Kolpa, which makes sense. Like,
yeah,
I
course.
would send them in with the cover of, let's check out propaganda and build a radio, and then give Gimple the real mission.
Orders, yeah.
Which MIT was studying heavy water at the time. It was a pretty small research program, but there's the thought that they were supposed to go spy on MIT about the nuclear stuff. It's also, Kolpa claimed that the U-boats were being equipped with long-range V weapons, like the V rockets, the V2 rockets, and that they could be, like, the submarines could come up and launch the missiles at D.C. and New York, which is brand new technology at the time. The FBI was like, shit, we got to take this seriously because they do have these long-range missile programs.
Kolpa goes, they also are creating explosive donkeys, so I hear.
Yes. Now, and it was later completely disproven. They weren't at that point with their technology yet. But I like to think there's something that you do as in intelligence work where you'll tell one of your spies a complete lie.
Mm-hmm. And then
to see if they blab.
Yeah. See so what...
I think that was the blab.
Yeah.
I think that was the lie.
I mean, of course, yeah. They give him something that's, like, so obviously not preposterous.
No,
but it's a very
war-changing,
clear lie.
They're going to hear back from their spies.
And based on the United States response, they go, oh, well, fuck boy Magoo blew it. Surprise, surprise.
They hear back from their agents that the FBI suddenly knows about this thing that they're not actually doing. They know exactly who to link it to. And I love it because Gimple, after 2001, September 11th, he was interviewed on Fox News in a bit by Oliver North, the guy who was involved in Iran-Contra and caused a whole bunch of things. What a dick. He was interviewed by that guy for people who were spying in America. He would go around and, like, interview people who had spied on America. I don't know why that would be a good idea after a terrorist attack, but it sounds like Fox News.
Because it's Fox fucking News.
Yeah. And Gimple died in 2010 in Sao Paulo, Brazil. He went back to South America like most Nazis.
Jesus Christ.
And then...
It's because he knew a bunch of his coworkers were in Argentina.
Kolpa took his time in prison where he learned a lot of, like, metalworking and opened a shop where he would do the same shit he was doing in prison, which was, like, really shitty metalworking.
Being
like
somebody's
desks,
bitch.
lockers.
And giving back, like, fucking dumpster tattoos.
Yeah. And making toilet wine.
God.
He opened the shop, and he in Pennsylvania, where he stayed until 2005 when he died. I love it because these guys lived so long.
Dude, everybody that went through World War II lives for fucking ever if you survived.
Yeah, especially the Nazis.
Yeah, goddamn.
We got to get more hunters on this. You know that show?
Yeah, I need to watch all of it.
I do
but
too.
I know what you're talking about. Good Lord.
So yeah, that's the second time we were, as far as we know, infiltrated.
History's dumbest yet most successful man.
Fucking Colpa. Oh, that was a solid episode.
Jesus.
I love these. I love the espionage that happened in World War II. Like
No.
Yeah.
You do? What?
Because you don't think about espionage in World War II. You think about espionage during the Cold War.
Yeah.
But it was set basically in the Civil War. We started spying. In World War I, we had a lot of spies.
Spy shit is
We've had spies forever.
Yeah.
But nobody ever talks about it. Nobody.
Of course not. Because it's hard to get your hands on those documents when they can't confirm or deny.
I'd like to talk about the Hotel Polski, I think it's called. In Germany, they basically set up a hotel. The Nazis set up a hotel. And the idea was they would leak information to the underground and say, hey, if you're a Jew, you come to the hotel, ask for a specific room, and that's where you get your passports to get out of the country. Yeah. That's where you get your fake IDs.
And then they just fucking snatch them and
then they just bullet in the back of the head.
Jesus.
Next one comes in the room.
Yeah.
And there's some famous people, not really killed right there, but they're put on the trains, and they were mostly sent to Auschwitz.
Jesus.
And there's a specific person who was sent to Auschwitz through the hotel that I want to talk about their story because it's really interesting. So that'll come up in the future at some point.
That'll be in 2 weeks.
No. I can't do it. Can't do them that quick.
Oh, all right. Well, you got Patreon?
I do.
Sweet.
Oh, you want me to talk about it?
Yeah, of course. Go for it. Take it away.
All right. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
So thank you all for the patrons. Your support really helps us out.
Big time.
Lets us kind of do what we're doing now and expand and get some stickers and do some fun giveaways. And sometimes you get shit depending on the tier. I think if you're in the second tier, you get a sticker. Third tier, you get a bunch of shit. So, Mini D Donnell, chairperson of the PP, thank you.
Much appreciated.
We got Abby, AJ's Third Nut, Lindo, D's Nuts,
Not me.
Nordic Thunder, Toddle Waddle, Dark Runner, Haley, and Casey McFacey. Thank you guys so much. If you're interested in supporting the show, keeping us ad-free,
yes,
go ahead, check it out. I'm going to be honest, we don't put as much shit on there as we should, but it's in the works. I'm just in nursing school.
The more patrons we have, the easier it's going to be for us to do all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. If we're able to take some time off of work and do this more full time, oh my God, can't imagine.
Big time.
We put out a lot more. But, obviously we're going to keep doing this because it's fun.
Yeah.
Don't feel obligated if you got an extra $6.66 around a month. Throw it in, we'd really appreciate it. But again, no big deal. You still get the show.
Yeah. And as always, find us on Instagram and Twitter at @PointsOPressure with music, movies,
episode
any
ideas,
kind of suggestions you've got, articles that you think are interesting. Not everything really comes to fruition because we have an enormous fucking backlog of episodes. So
episode ideas.
Yeah, reach out if really you need anything. Not so great with Twitter. I keep a little bit better eye on it. But Instagram, Twitter, @PointsOPressure. And we will catch you guys next Monday.